English 2 students. It's me, Mr. Maines, here to help you out with some of our launch assignments. So I'm looking at the Emily Dickenson poem where the assignment is through StudySync. I do not have StudySync yet. Apparently it's coming soon, whatever. I worked with a student yesterday on this assignment. I had her share her screen and we went through, I believe, everything on the assignment except for the vocab, which I guess you do before the reading. So again, this is by Emily Dickenson. The title of the poem is the first line of the poem. We have 2 stanzas. Each stanza is 4 lines. Okay, I think it's important to get a little bit of background here first, is that Emily Dickinson pulls from a lot of Greek mythology and older literature tales. So if you're not familiar with too much Greek mythology, I think you go over it a little bit in English 1. But in this case, fate is the embodiment of the powers of fate in the universe. So in Greek mythology, sometimes these powers of the universe were embodied in a kind of deity. These deities often had power over the Greek gods themselves. And so sometimes fate or destiny or the fates would even have power over like Zeus and Hermes and Aphrodite, etc. And so now we're diving into this poem. So let's go ahead and read it and then we'll do some analysis. Fate slew him, but he did not drop. She felled, he did not fall. Impaled him on her fiercest stakes. He neutralized them all. She stung him, sapped his firm advance. But when her worst was done, and he, unmoved, regarded her, acknowledged him a man. Okay, end of poem. So now it's important to note a few things. I'm not going to give you answers to all the questions. I don't even have the questions in front of me. For the last portion of the assignment, the right that you have to screenshot and turn in and launch, that's going to be an argumentative analysis. And you're specifically going to be arguing about, if I remember correctly, the tone of the piece and something else, but they want you to argue or make your argument based on the verbs in the poem. So remember, verbs are what you do. So let's look at some of the verbs for her. And so I'm going to reread the poem, but I'm going to add in some extra pronouns to make the action of the poem a little bit more clear. At some point you'll have to paraphrase the poem and write down what literally is happening. So that's a little bit of what I'm going to be doing here. Okay, so we have on one side fate embodied as a woman fighting against a man. Okay, so fate as a woman versus a man. Okay, the man can stand in for all of mankind, male and female and otherwise. And fate is standing in for predetermined destiny. So mankind is fighting for their own free will here. So fate slew him. So attacks, knocks him down, or tries to knock him down, but he did not drop. And so he's resisting fate from taking over his life. Okay, so he takes the attack, but does not go down. She felled, and he did not fall. So felled, this is an older verb here. So another verb for her. So far hers are slew and felled. If I said I went hunting this weekend and I felled a deer, that would mean that I, attacked it, knocked it down, killed it, etc. And so she's trying to fell him, but he did not fall. So she used that verb just for that symmetry with felled and fall, but I understand in modern ears we don't really understand that felled verb. So she again attacks, but he does not fall. So she attacks, he resists, or at least does not drop. Okay, so that's the first 2 lines. Now I'm going to add in some extra pronouns for line 3. She impaled him on her fiercest stakes. So a stake like a spike. So she's trying to impale him on spikes, whether it's like a bed of spikes, like a trap, or something else. Stakes, like you get a vampire. We get it. So she impaled him on her fiercest stakes, but he neutralized them all. So the first two lines are she attacks, he takes it and gets back up. Okay? Now lines 3 and 4, he's starting to have some more agency and defend himself. So if this is a boxing match, right? Lines 1 and 2 are she punches, he doesn't fall down. She punches, he doesn't fall down. Now, line 3, she goes to punch him and pierce him on her fiercest stakes. So it's a big right hook coming in for a knockout, right? And he knocks out of the way, knocks her arm out of the way. So now, instead of she the aggressor and him the victim, now they're more standing as equals, okay? He is saying, I'm capable of staying in this fight. So if we return to our theme of fate trying to determine somebody's own free will, this person is saying, no, I'm going to make my own choices in life. You can't control me, right? So let's move to stanza 2. She stung him and sapped his firm advance. So this is kind of taken a little bit out of order, right? He is advancing according to that last verb in line 5, right? So now they're at that standstill after stanza 1, and he advances, okay? He's going to go on the offensive here. And so she, quick jab to try to stop his advance, okay? Now line 6, but when her worst was done, after a nice flurry of blows, try to take him down, he unmoved regarded her. So almost, if you guys understand a Matrix reference, he is now just like Muhammad Ali, getting out of the way of all these punches, no problem. And then he regards her just like, what's up, I can do this all day, Captain America style, right? Last line, she acknowledges him a man. So she's like, okay, you can do what you want. That's fine. Test passed. You go live your life, boo. That's our poem. So to recap, fate is trying to control, fate's over here, I remember now. Fate's trying to control man. And it's like, hey, you didn't get to pick the family you were born in. You didn't get to pick what you look like, your genes, etc. Why don't you just let me control everything else? Fate, the system, the man, oppression, etc. But our male character in the story is standing in for all of mankind and saying, no, I'm going to choose my own way. You're right, I didn't get to choose everything about who I am, but I'm going to choose what I can and choose to be myself rather than somebody controlled by outside forces. I hope that makes sense with you. The last thing, I already kind of brought it up, is let's look at the verbs briefly here. So I'm going to talk about his verbs and her verbs. So what he's doing, what she's doing, okay? So again, we start out, fate slew him, so an aggressive verb. He did not drop, so almost like a verb in the negative tense. So he didn't do anything. He did not drop, right? He's standing strong. She felled him, so she swings again. He did not fall. So the first two lines are she's aggressing and he is just not dropping, not falling, okay? Now she's trying to impale him and he neutralizes, okay? I love neutralize here because this poem starts out, she is the aggressor and him is the victim, and then neutralize means they're on equal ground, okay? If we have neutrality in a war, we're not fighting for either side. So he neutralizes her so that they can stand as equals, okay? He's like getting his feet, and he's like, okay, let's square up, let's do this. Then she stings him as he's advancing, okay? So she is still doing an aggressive hit verb, okay, while he's advancing. So he's no longer just not dropping. Now he's acting. He is doing something. Now when her worst was done, he unmoved regarded her, okay? So now he's regarding. So he goes from not dropping, not falling, to neutralizing, to advancing, and now regarding. So he's like, yeah, I can do this. And then she acknowledges him. So I hope this makes this assignment make a little bit more sense. I understand this wasn't like a full presentation. It's a shorter assignment. The Milton one seems a little bit longer. If this isn't helpful enough, please reach out today. Hopefully we can get this in so you can have it on your midterm grade. If it's not turned in on time, get it turned in as soon as possible so we can boost your first quarter grade and you can feel good about the class. This has been Mr. Maines. Please let me know if you need anything. I'm going to go do in-person school now.